guys, so today's video is going to be more on the personal side, I guess you'd say. And what I want to talk about, I know that it's a serious matter, and I have some of my really close friends who struggle from anxiety, and I know it's not something to joke around about, and it's a serious matter, and not just, make a video about it just because you feel like to. But I never really do personal videos that often. I've done like questions to get to know me kind of videos, but there's quite a few things that even those questions you're not going to know a lot about me, and I do plan to make videos in the future for you guys to get to know me a little bit better, because there is a lot of stuff that you guys don't know about me, and I don't think it's too personal that I can't talk about on the internet. I've just never had, I never really talked about it. Like, for example, a long time ago, it was like over a year ago, I think, I made my weight loss video and I talked about having PCOS, and I'm planning on making a video more in depth about that. And this video is going to solely be about my social anxiety. And I know a lot of people think that a lot of people who say they have social anxiety really don't suffer from it. They just are shy. And I know the difference. To sort of like put a little joke in here, me and one of my best friends, Naisha, we wrote papers about social anxiety, and so we know for sure the difference between being nervous and social anxiety. And I definitely fall into the category of social anxiety. For you guys that don't know what social anxiety is, it's pretty self-explanatory. There's a lot of symptoms that go along with social anxiety, and I'm just going to be talking about the ones that I suffer from, but I'm pretty sure there's plenty more that I don't suffer from. But for the most case, I do suffer with most of the symptoms that come along with social anxiety. So, a little backstory. I don't really know when I woke up and just said, oh, I have social anxiety. I never really knew, but I never really knew that I had it until I think a year and a half ago, maybe. I was thinking, I have a hard time talking to people, and I get really worked up about being in public situations and just talking to a person. And then I know that there's anxiety, so do I have social anxiety? Is that a thing? And I researched it, and the more and more I read about it, the more and more I felt like I'm not alone. And that's another reason I wanted to make this video, is just to help you guys feel like you're not alone, because I didn't know that this was even a thing until like a year and a half ago, and I was like, oh, it's a real thing. I'm not just really weird and I can't talk to people. So ever since I was little, I was always really shy, and I didn't like talking. I'd always have my parents order for me, which I knew was normal, but I don't think it was normal when you're like 15 and you still have your parents order for you. Maybe in some cases it is, but I have other symptoms that kind of show why I was like that. I didn't like ordering my food. If a waitress would ask me if I needed a refill, I would just kind of like look at them like they're a ghost or something, and my parents would be like, yeah, she needs a refill. And I never really knew why I couldn't talk to people. I had this fear, and I would just get really shaky, and I didn't want them to think, I didn't want to be judged by them. So that was like more my younger days. And then when we had our cell phones, I can't really talk to people on the phone at all. I will get so worked up and I will shake and have a meltdown. I cannot talk to people on the phone, and that's another symptom of social anxiety, and that's more like a more serious symptom that I've researched. Is if you can't talk to people on the phone, you're kind of more in the serious symptoms of social anxiety, and I fall in that because I will have an anxiety attack if I have to call someone on the phone. I'll give you a little story. I take college classes for my for a college class I take at high school, and we have this online program called Blackboard. And over the summer, I forgot it, of course, because I took college classes last year at my high school, and I'm taking some this year. We had to remember our passwords, and if you didn't remember your password, you had to call a person there at the college and get a new password. And I held it off for so long. We had an assignment due that we had to submit through Blackboard, and I told my teacher, I don't have my password yet. And we were already like a month into school because I put it off, and I was like, I cannot do it. I will have a breakdown. I still submit the assignment through email, so it's all good. We're good. So I finally worked up the courage to call, and I was sitting there on the phone, and I can't tell you how fast my heart was beating. I was shaking, my voice was shaking. And even though the other guy on the other line was totally chill throughout the whole conversation, he was humming and everything, and I'm sitting here on my bed on my phone, like having a breakdown. And I just wanted it to be over. And when it was over, I like had tears in my eyes. I was shaking, and you know, there's really no explanation. It's part of social anxiety, and some people may think that I'm completely weird and out of this world because I cannot talk to a person on the phone. And if it's a person in public, it's 10 times worse inside. I try to make myself look as calmly as possible. Like, it's literally the hardest thing ever. And I can barely go to the grocery store and think about people all around me. Like, I feel like they're judging me. And like, if I'm going grocery shopping and I'm down the aisle and there's a person down the aisle, I will physically move to a different aisle where there's nobody, and I will wait for them to get out of that aisle so I can go down that aisle. And I've never talked about this before. Like, I talk to my friends about it all the time, but I never talked to you guys about it. So the more I talk about it, the crazier I sound. But I'm hoping there's people out there that can relate to this, because I related to a lot of like the facts online. I'm like, okay, I'm not alone. So there's grocery shopping and telephone. If I go order if I'm out with my friends and we go up to order some food, I will play back my order in my head over and over and over, so I don't get it wrong, so I don't get judged by the person taking my order. And I will just play it in my head, so when I actually physically talk to them, like what my order is, I won't mess up. And that's another thing with social anxiety. You know, you practice over and over, so you're not like, you just role play in your head the whole time, so you don't mess up when you get up there. There was this post that I saw for a senior quote, and it's basically, I don't know word for word, but it literally explains my life so well. And it's like, how am I gonna be able to go into the real world if I can barely order a Taco Bell taco? I mean, oops, what? Taco Bell taco? No, if I can barely order a taco at Taco Bell. And I never related to something so much before, because even through drive-thru, I rehearse it in my head over and over and over, so whenever they ask for my order, I'll have it ready. And I try to, most of the time I want my parents to go get my food for me, because I can't even talk to an intercom. And I know there's a way to like get better with social anxiety, and when I researched about it for my paper last year in my Comp 1 and 2 class, I don't remember which semester we wrote it in, but a way to help is go to therapy. And the whole time I was researching that, I'm like, no, why would I go to therapy for social anxiety when my fear is talking to people, but I go talk to some guy? And I know the big thing is to do something that is you're afraid of, like slowly get into it. So one of the things I researched was, like, if I'm out in public, the whole time I'm just thinking, am I doing this right? Am I okay? Does my hair look okay? Am I walking straight? Am I looking weird? Are people judging me this whole time? Am I being normal? Is basically my whole thought process when I'm out in public. And what I researched is that when you're walking on the street, start simple. Start with just asking the time to some random person, and then start with small stuff like that, and it'll slowly help you evolve from social anxiety. And I think I need to start doing that, because I've gotten a little bit better, because I've gone to college visits and I'm basically forced to ask questions, forced to interact with the people. You know, having social anxiety is like, it's gonna like get hard for you whenever you go out in the real world and you have to have a job interview. I've only had one, and it was one of my scariest experiences. I've had plenty of them, but yeah, job interviews and just talking one-on-one. And I know everybody gets nervous through a job interview, but like I don't really want to talk about it. It was terrible. And also, I don't know, because when I was younger, I moved around a lot to different schools. Well, not a whole lot, but I moved around four times. And I don't know if like going to different schools, you would think going to different schools and meeting new people would make you better at talking to people. I don't know if it made me worse or not. I know it always took me a while to make friends, except for when I moved to Montana. I had a great time making friends. I I think I made my best friends like the first day of school, but that was just a lucky case. My other 2 times moving, it kind of took me a while to make friends because I'm not really the one to start conversation. You know, you have to start conversation with me for to actually talk. I always thought I was really different, and I thought that I was the only one. I'm like, what is wrong with me? Why can't I talk to people? Why am I afraid? Why do I get so worked up and have like these attacks whenever I just talk to a person? Or, you know, a lot of times if someone's just looking at me and laughing with their friends, I'll think they're laughing at me because I'm so self-conscious about like being around people. I think that everything's about me, and it's not. And that's another thing that I researched, is a big thing with social anxiety is that you think it's all about you. You know, that sounds self-conceited, but obviously you're not. But you just think that anything around you is like towards you, and everything's just coming this way, when in reality, you know, then people over there laughing are just laughing about, you know, an incident that happened yesterday at school, and they just happen to look at me, and it's just little things like that. So once I figured out that, oh, there actually is a name for what I go through, and I'm not the only one who goes through it, you know, it made me feel better about myself, that I wasn't the only one. So I hope I was able to help one of you guys out there thinking, oh, maybe I have social anxiety. And it's definitely not something to just go around saying, oh, I get nervous when I'm presenting in class, I have social anxiety. I don't take it personally, but some people will take that personally, thinking that you're making fun of their actual disorder that they have. You know, there's a line between being nervous presenting in class, and there's a line just being afraid of people in general, and just everything that I just talked about. And you just want to make sure that you know where you fall, and not to go cross, you know, okay, I hope you guys know what I mean. But yeah, I hope I helped one of you guys, and maybe you guys can personally relate to what I've gone through. But yeah, I'm Natalie, and I have social anxiety, so yeah. I hope you guys like this video, and if you want any more personal videos, just let me know. I plan to make a couple more, and I love you guys so much, and I'll see you guys next time. Bye!
She likes everyone, and I never like to admit that I was wrong. And I've been so caught up in my job, didn't see what's going on, but now I know I'm better sleeping on